everyone, it's now March the 3rd and it's time for another TBR video. So this month I'm carrying on with my video from January. I'm going to have my Spotify pick my TBR, and a couple days ago I put my playlist on shuffle, played 5 songs. Those 5 songs determine what is going to be on my TBR for this month. So let's go see what the songs were. Okay, so here we are. We are back with another round of my Spotify picks my TBR, since you guys seem to really enjoy my last video in January. February I was participating in both Contemporary-a-thon and Black-a-thon, so it just was too restricting as it was. Not too restricting, but you know, to add my Spotify picking my TBR on top of the prompts and everything. I just took a month off for that one. So I am going to click play and it's going to shuffle to something. I'm going to do 5 songs. If I can find more than one book that pertains to the song, I will try to pick more than one book per song, but I'm going to pick 5 songs. So here goes. Synthesizers by Butch Walker and the Black Widows. So we'll just go to the next one. Tear in My Heart, 21 Pilots. Sometimes you gotta bleed enough. I do my makeup in somebody Green Light by Lord. We ordered different drinks at the same bars. Okay, song number 4. 7 Rings by Ariana Grande. Oh, this is gonna be a fun month. And last song, When You Were Young by The Killers. Okay, so that's a good mix of songs and an interesting mix, which is the summary of my playlist in general. So I will come back with my findings for the lyrics and pick out books. Okay, so as you can tell, as you've seen, I have a very interesting bunch of songs to pick my TBR from. So the first song that popped up was Synthesizers by Butch Walker and the Black Widows. And for this one, I really focused on the lyrics talking about like the 80s, like Duran Duran he mentions, and like the style of clothing from the 80s. So I had books that were set in the 80s in mind. Also the chorus, for once in your life, do what feels right. Don't wait for the next big compromise. So for that one, people who may not be doing what society would think that would be the right thing to do or the normal thing to do, but to do what they want to do, like whether that's in life or in the book or whatever. So for these books, before I played the songs, I wanted to pick a selection of books because I'm such a mood reader, and if something doesn't sound good at the time, then I'm not going to read it. I'm just not. So to pick a set TBR each month with 1 book per prompt or per song is really difficult for me to do and keeps me less motivated. So I'm going to pick a few books from each song. So one of the books that I thought about was Sadie by Courtney Summers, because she's trying to find out for herself what happened to her sister. Her sister has gone missing, so she's going out on her own to figure out what happened. And people might think, hey, this is dangerous. Like, you're only a teenager or a young adult, so why are you doing this? But she feels that she needs to find out for herself, like, what happened. So I thought of that book. Then I felt like while reading synopses from books on my shelf, I came across The Serpent King by Jeff Zentner. And the last little bit, graduation feels more like an ending to Dill than a beginning. But even before then, he must cope with another ending, one that, oh wait, maybe not that part. Dill's only escapes are his music and his secret feelings for Lydia, neither of which he is brave enough to share. I just felt like this might fit that prompt a little bit, like about the doing what, you know, feels right in the story. And for the 80s aspect of the song, I picked Silver Sparrow by Tayari Jones. This is all about a relationship between two sisters. One knows that they are sisters, the other does not know, and this is set during the 80s, so this seemed intriguing, so I picked this up from the library. Another one set in 1989, to be specific, is Like a Love Story by Abdi Nazemian. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Forgive me if I'm not. But I know this is about the AIDS epidemic in the 80s / early 90s. And a book about, you know, a group of people, some falling in love maybe. I didn't really read too much into the synopsis. I just know that this one's set in the late 80s. So I really wanted to read it. So those are the books that I'm choosing for that song. The next song was Tear in My Heart by 21 Pilots. Now from this song, I gathered that he's really, like, the singer is really in love with this girl, but she's also the tear in his heart, so maybe the thorn in his side. So I picked books that, and between the hero and the heroine of the story, like, their relationship is a little bit bumpy, because they get on each other's nerves maybe, or there's something else preventing them from getting together, and them eventually getting together, because they really can't hide their feelings for each other. So I picked two classics that I've been meaning to read for a while. One is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and then Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Surprisingly, after loving Emma so much, and that being one of my favorite books of all time, I've been really hesitant on starting another classic, Pride and Prejudice. So maybe this month I'll get more into the classics. The next song was Green Light by Lorde. Now, that Green Light by Lorde is obviously a song about heartbreak, and then the chorus, she's wanting that green light to probably move on, like the go-ahead, like get permission, like, hey, you can move on from this horrible relationship that you've just been through. So I definitely wanted a book featuring a breakup. So the books that I picked for this prompt, or this song, Juliet Takes a Breath by Gabby Rivera. I really don't know much about this book. I just featured, it just was featured in a lot of, like, book lists, what to read after a breakup or something. So I decided to pick it up, and it's not a very long read, which I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of shorter books, so hopefully that goes well. A book called Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler, and art by Myra Kalman. So this book it doesn't seem that long, but it's very heavy for a book this size, and it's because of all the art in it. So, I really am intrigued by the style of this book, because it's not like a graphic novel, but it's not like a normal novel either, because it features so much art. But I'm looking forward to it. So, and then we have We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. As you can tell by the bookmark, I already started this book, and I'm like over halfway done with it already. So, this is about the main character, Marin, and her ex, Mabel, is coming to visit her at college. So on to the next song, Seven Rings by Ariana Grande. This was like the funnest story song to match with a book. And obviously, like, this book is like, or the song is about living in luxury and buying what she wants and all the nice things, like very materialistic song. Although, like, I also thought about she has lyrics that said, like, what I've been through should have made me a sad bitch, but made me a savage. So I was thinking about, like, books about, like, a major, like, comeback for somebody. Not necessarily from having, like, a mental breakdown or anything like that, but just, like, and not necessarily a redemption story, but, like, a comeback, like a what didn't kill me made me stronger kind of vibe from the book. So I was trying to think of either memoirs that I have heard about that I've been wanting to read, or just novels about that kind of thing, but I couldn't think of anything in regards to that thing. So I focused on the rich people aspects. So books about rich people, there's a ton. So I picked up The Distance Between Us by Casey West. So it's a love story between this girl and this rich guy. So there's that. I thought, or another book that's on my shelves is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Now, I've heard mixed things about this book, and I'm going to keep those, like, negative things in mind while reading this book, but about these uber rich kids in college, and something bad happens, I think that's this one. So she became really rich from all these people investing in this company, and it turns out to be, like, a major con. So yeah, I love me some true crime, so that should be right up my alley. And then the last song is When We Were Young by The Killers. Now, this book is about, like, growing up and moving on in the world. Perceptions change as you look back on youth. So, some books that I've wanted to read, a coming of age story based on the lyrics, but one book that really fits that I neglected to read in January is Ask Again Yes. Another coming of age story that I have on my shelves that I've been really wanting to reread for a long time was To Kill a Mockingbird. Mostly everybody has heard of this book. Again, I read this back in high school, and I really wanted to reread it for a long time. And then a book that I never read, but I watched the movie adaptation, was The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. And I already know vaguely, I can remember vaguely the movie, but, you know, books and movies, sometimes they are never that similar. So I picked this one, another coming of age book that might tear me apart. So there you have it. I have 11, 12, 13, 14 books here. 14 books. I don't know if I'll be able to read all these, but it's a good goal. I want to read 10 books this month, so that seems like a good goal. So here they all are. So here's hoping that I can get to most of them. So what are you guys planning on reading this month? If you have any links to your TBR videos, please let me put it down in the comments below. I love watching TBR videos so much. So yeah, until next time, happy reading.